Hello and welcome, my name is Lynx. We are playing Olga Doesn't Die. Second episode. First one certainly was interesting, to me at least. Let's see what we will get over here now, with the second one. Before long came Christmas. I stood in a corner of ballroom observing the Christmas party that was the same each year. Does this make this a Christmas game? Only this year, the thought that perhaps I was not needed here felt stronger than ever. As the Imperial family made its way through the room, speaking with various important members of the nobility, Sasha approached me. Oh, this guy again. Happy Christmas, Olga. It's Merry Christmas, you punk. Happy Christmas to you too. I was thinking that perhaps I should leave.
Tired already? Then I just wake on. But you ought to go upstairs to your room to rest if you need to.
No. Perhaps this is not the right time to tell you such news, but I intend to leave this place altogether. I will no longer be beside the Imperial family.
What? Why? You cannot do it, Olga!
It's because the Emperor doesn't listen to at all. I wondered if his refusal came from boyhood affection for family or from a desperation for a legitimacy as his grandfather had when seeking me out. No. He wants someone to constantly nod to his decisions, even if those are the bad decisions. I explained this last time.
You must tell me why! That way I can convince you not to go!
Because the Emperor is shite?
I assure you, I've never once wanted you gone! Who told you to leave? Tell me and I will have them punished. That's my right as Emperor! If it is our recent arguments, then I must tell you that I thought more about what you've said. You were right! On some things. I relent your opinion on much of what we spoke of, and I apologize if I hurt you in saying what I said.
Yet our arguments were not the only reason I declared my intent to go. The direction that the Empire had begun to turn in had long left my ability to influence. This apology was but a single apology. Unable to advise him well, all I did was stain the reputation of the Imperial family as a so-called witch. There was no use in having someone who brought upon you shame from the outside and displeasure to you from the inside, forcing her way against your own. I could not bear to be in such a state. Perhaps it was selfish of me, therefore I struggled to vocalize these thoughts. I simply shook my head.
At least not now. Think about it a while longer. If not for me, for the children, Olga!
Sasha, to me, you are still... He was still a child I saw grow up. Even though he was now a grown man, he was still, at times, a bad boy. I just realized there are two baldies in the background. Like, the type that, you know, they are bald, but they still keep their hair on the sides, which looks horrendous. Dude, just shave entire head at this point. Before I could find my words, Katusha appeared before us.
Father, Olga, that you were talking without me! How dare you!
Katenka, that was her speaking about something important.
No, it's alright. Did you want anything from us, Katusha? She shook her head.
I just want to ask Father if I may have some of the pastries.
May she?
You spoiled her. Yes. Go ahead, Katinka, but don't have too many and don't tell your mother, okay?
Yay! I love you, Olga!
And me?
The answer should be It would be funny.
I love you too, Father! But less! Much less!
She thought in her mind. The two of us watched as Katusha left for the pastries, waiting until she could no longer hear our conversation before resuming. Sasha.
Olga?
I'll think about it a while longer.
Thank you. I'll treat it as if we did not have this conversation at all.
Of course, of course. You must spare me the embarrassment. Or yourself. It seemed that I would stay. Maybe. I may take your suggestion.
Which?
To go up and take a rest soon.
Oh, yeah, you do it, Olga.
Good night, Sasha.
Good night, Olga.
Sasha departed to speak with some others, and I began to make my way out of the ballroom. As I did, I felt the eyes of the other guests upon me. They whispered far too loudly as if wanting me to hear.
Do you think we garnished as Emperor's secret mistress? The poor Empress, then again I always did think Maria was a German fool. A charlatan who has the Emperor fooled? What witch, what hack? Have you heard what people have been saying these days? She is enough on the eyes, I would keep her myself if I could. Best not have someone with unknown orgies so close by. Who knows what wild things she whispers in the Emperor's ears. God forbid the crowned princess. What, haven't you heard that she's a witch who's been around for generations?
How irritating. Before I could leave, a man blocked my way. I took a moment to recognize him, as he was not someone I spoke with often. He was a noble, a very distant Imperial relative even.
Happy Christmas.
As I attempted to walk around him and leave, he grabbed my wrist. You are Lord Yusupov.
Dmitri Pavlovich Yusupov, at your service. Do call me Dmitri. Lord Yusupov was my late father. May his soul rest in peace.
I attempted to shake him off, but he would not let go. I could not ascertain what this man wanted with me. I see. What business do you have with me? Lord Yusupov, was it?
I would like to invite you to an after party at my villa.
I'm afraid that must decline. It's been a long day and I intend to turn in soon.
No, you must not decline. This is a very special party.
Yeah, there are very few things special enough to come between myself and the bed. What after party is more important than the Emperor's Christmas party? His Majesty bade me rest, and the rest I intend to take. Without letting go of my wrist, he leaned in to whisper in my ear.
We must discuss a matter of utmost importance, a matter of national security, that of the Emperor.
You ought to discuss this with His Majesty.
No, he could know of this, lest he be endangered. We must speak with you.
What is it then?
There are too many eyes, too many ears here. Come with me before it's too late. Not for me, but for the Imperial family, for His Majesty.
I don't believe this going. Still, this man would not let go of my wrist as he could not afford for me to run. Yeah, that's why you should not trust him. The idea of some drastic threat to the Empire that would endanger Sasha for him to know of filled me with trepidation. I made up my mind to hear him out. Why? Alright then, to your villa, roared Yusupov. Fine, I had go. I wrapped my wrist where he held me, finding a red mark in the shape of his fingers. Even if that mark would fade soon enough, I could not help but grimace. He's not to be trusted. He exited the ballroom and I followed after. Should have not followed. I entered his carriage after him and it set out toward the villa in the direction of the city's main river. We should be away from prying eyes now, so speak. What is it that's so important to the security of the Emperor that you cannot speak to him and must speak to me?
No, only in my villa can we be safe to discuss what we want to discuss with you.
I had no intention of speaking with him further, yet he began to talk.
So how do you manage this con?
What?
You know exactly what I mean. The con of swapping out daughters for the Emperor's family to play Sage Witch. I'm impressed, really. White hair is unheard of in a girl as young as you, but it seems the Imperial witches always look like this, and your faces were just about always the same in those portraits. So how long has this con been running for?
Do not insult me any further, you asshole. The carriage stopped as we arrived into his villa. He led me inside, bringing me to a dining area where a number of guests were already present. As I entered, their eyes followed me with a not-so-pleasant gleam. The man flagged a servant who quickly came over with a bottle of wine and glass. The man then proceeded to pour glass and held it out to me.
Come now, have a drink first.
I don't drink. Of course, that was a lie. But I don't trust it at all.
What was it that you want to speak with me about? That matter of utmost importance that threatens the Emperor. What is it? Terrorists, socialists, reformists, war? Surely you can say it now that I've come to the villa.
Have a drink first.
I must refuse.
No, have a drink.
You must think I'm stupid if you don't think I would find this suspicious.
But you see, you have no choice. I think you'll be happy if you have a drink first. I'm not a cruel man after all. I'll even tell you what I want to discuss with you after.
I'm clearly outnumbered here, aren't I? Do as you please.
Finished with our back and forth, he grabbed me and slammed me into the table, knocking the air out of me. Then he poured the wine into my mouth. Much spilled past my lips, but he forced me to swallow what entered. The acrid taste of bad wine mixed with some sort of sediment covered my tongue. He couldn't even offer me something better to drink. I coughed and sputtered, but I could not spit it out.
I suppose there was never a threat to begin with.
He is the threat. I mean, that was so freaking obvious.
No, the threat was you.
He let go of me and stood back. A surge of dizziness rushed through my head. My vision blurred, warping. I attempted to leverage the dining table to keep my balance and stand. As he took a gun out from his pocket, I understood.
Ahaha, an assassination then? Nah, just murder. Well.
I felt the slightest relief that Sasha would not be in danger.
Oi, Grigory, wasn't there supposed to be enough in a sip to knock out a full-grown horse within seconds?
Some must have responded, but his voice did not reach my ears.
Cheh, so be it.
Yusupov raised his gun at me.
Don't hurry yourself out to the Emperor in your next life.
A red-hot pain pierced through my skull, and I crumpled to the ground. Something wet leaked down my face, prompting me to bring a hand up to my forehead. Staring at the man and his compatriots, I made her stand up again.
She's not going down! Is she seriously getting back up? Contain monster! Devil! What if she's really a witch? You said that she was just a girl! Shut up and shoot her again!
And it hopefully still doesn't work. The bullets made of pain tore through my body and consciousness. When I regained a semblance of self again through the red, I found Yusupov and his compatriots dragging my body outside. The sound of a river that had yet to freeze over reached my ears. My eyes stained with blood turned to Yusupov, who at that moment looked toward my face.
Ah!
If I could speak, I would curse him. All that came out was a painful gargle that tasted of iron. Everything hurt.
Chop her up so she won't get back up again!
They reached a spot to their satisfaction and threw my body harshly to the ground. They gripped my limbs, which still could not move, as if holding an animal for slaughter, and pinned them to the ground. I had the feeling of their hands. Then their other compatriots prepared their blades. I closed my eyes. It hurt. The feeling of my flesh being rent apart, it hurt. It hurt! It hurt! It hurt! In a way I could not put into words. It hurt, okay? My thoughts swam in a patchwork of red and meat. Was I sad? Was I disappointed? I mean, maybe in yourself because you trusted the guy? My senses disappeared. I wonder if she only has... Because we've seen this in the first, well, video technically that I made. That she has the super fast regeneration. I wonder if that's all there is to her. Or if she's able to do something else. I mean, again, she mentioned the cursing and so on. I wonder if she can put a proper curse on someone. Would be neat, I guess. And useful in this situation. My senses disappeared. All I was pain. All I could taste was iron. All I could see was red. All I could hear was the crunching, squelching, splattering of flesh. Then there was an all-enveloping cold. Bubbles escaped my slack mouth, ice cold water rushing in over place, my blood mixed into a rushing black, and I could not even make an attempt to swim. The water around me hugged my body and pulled me downward. They threw me into the river. Overcoming pain was an even worse sensation, that of fear. I would not die, therefore I was afraid. I was afraid of this deep black water around me, afraid that it would swallow me up and never spit me out. I think it would spit you out, right? I mean, even if not, if you are unable to... Are you unable to die? Maybe. You could maybe just walk once you regenerate. And I remember that she once told me,
You need to learn how to swim.
I was afraid. I was scared. My consciousness began to fade. No, I didn't want this. If I were to sink to the bottom of the ocean, then I would... Hello. I opened my eyes to an unfamiliar ceiling and took a hesitant breath. What entered my lungs was sweet air. I laid in an unfamiliar bed within an unfamiliar room, which certainly was in an unfamiliar house. As I glanced at the closed window, I saw an unfamiliar landscape covered in what could not be more familiar. Snow. It was snowing. Therefore, it must have still been winter? Who was I? What was I? In truth, I knew the answers to those questions, if not where I was, but I no longer wanted to think. I was killed. Then my body was thrown into a river. A shiver went down my spine at the idea of being trapped in a hell of water as I had feared. Dude, if that something like that happened to me, I would so go back to those people. Oh, they would be scared shitless, man. Yet I was instead in an unknown bed in an unknown location. Knowing that those behind my assassination were all members of nobility, I wondered what Sasha would do in response or if he would make any action at all. Although I said that I would not leave after all, I ended up leaving by no choice of my own. I was weak. What heck, I was in the end a mere girl who could not die. I attempted to move my limbs and they would not move. No, they themselves had not withered away. They were very much attached to my body once more, the same as before or newly formed, unknown. I simply seemed to have forgotten how to move them. As I tried to get out of bed, I only barely succeeded in forcing myself to an upright sitting position without falling. I heard the sound of the bedroom door opening. An androgynous woman stepped into the room, a look of surprise on her face upon seeing me awake.
Oh, Sleeping Beauty has awoken.
Where am I? My throat felt terribly dry. My voice came out as more than a whisper.
Let me get you some water first.
The woman quickly left the room and returned with a cup of water, which she passed to me. Which I might as well pour myself some water. Why not? It pisses me off how you have to pay more for having a bottle or a can. It's so annoying. What a stupid system, man. The woman quickly left the room and returned with a cup of water, which she passed to me. It was warm.
Thank you.
With shaky hands, I raised the cup to my lips and took a sip.
Who are you?
You first.
My name is Olga.
Just Olga?
Yes, just that. Oh, I see it's a pleasure to meet you, Olga. My name is Vasilisa Nikolaevna Ulyanova.
Oof.
And to answer a previous question, this is my home. I found you by the river and brought you here.
The name of Vasilisa made emotions swirl uncomfortably in my chest.
Vasilisa, just like Vasilisa the Great. I suppose, yeah, that's it. I'm just a school teacher.
Oh, what a weird voice. That did not seem to be all, but I did not voice my doubts.
What is the date today? The 1st of December, 1905.
Wait. A year passed? Okay, 1905. A full year since then.
Thank you, Ulyanova. Please call me Vasilisa. Vasilisa Nikolaevna.
After an exchange of interactions, Vasilisa Nikolaevna left the room and once again returned with something in her hands, a bowl of porridge. Although she initially handed the bowl to me, much to my embarrassment, my hands shook too much to eat. Thus came the scene of her feeding me porridge spoon by spoon. The mortification of making a woman who I had just met feed me washed through me. Yet, as the warmth of the food settled in my stomach, I felt comfort. After putting away the bowl, she massaged my arms and hands, helping move them up and down until a semblance of dexterity returned as my mind finally remembered my limbs.
Do you have any old newspapers from the end of last year and the beginning of this? I should. Why do you ask? I want to catch up with what happened around my coma.
She made a hum of understanding.
Ooh! Would you like the entire year, sir? Just the end of last year and the beginning of this year should be sufficient for now.
She rummaged around the room, retrieving a stack of newspapers, and passed them over to me.
Thank you. You're welcome. Just let me know if you need any more.
I nodded and began to sift through the papers I received. If I received a paper cut or two from my clumsy handling, then no one but me had to know. Little cuts healed quickly. The week of Christmas, nothing in particular appeared in the news. It was in the papers from the week after that I found what I sought. At the same time, I did not find what I sought. Yusupov and the other names were pardoned by Sasha for killing an anonymous person whose description I could tell was mine. Their punishment was a small fine and a slap on the wrist. The group was sent for peacetime military service in Kashi officer positions. I'm going to say hands them down. So this was Sasha's answer. I should have left after all. If I cried, Vasilisa Nikolaevna did not comment. With those tears went my love for the Emperor as that boy I saw grew up. Time for vengeance! I so recovered control of my body with the assistance of Vasilisa Nikolaevna. While healthy, I seemed to have forgotten how to move after a year of slumber. Why had I slept for so long? I wondered if I had been afraid to awaken. Soon enough my body remembered, and I was as I always had been. I wonder if you were for an entire year in that building with. I stayed in the house today while Vasilisa Nikolaevna was out. Without much ado, I looked to the bookshelf and perused through what I could find. Certainly there were novels. Goethe, Tolstoy, Dostoevsky. Perhaps because she was a teacher, she had a well-stocked collection of books. As I glanced across their spines, I found that many had been notably censored, or even banned from print. Pathetic. I thumbed through one such and found that it was a foreign edition without the edits from the censors. The book was interesting enough to kill time despite my German being rusty. After I finished reading the book, I put it back and discovered a box of pamphlets on the same shelf. They were from various leftist groups, some more radical than the others, calling for this and that, abolishment of monarchy and what's not. I totally would support that. As I parsed through them, I found a number of familiar names. This group was associated with a number of terrorist attacks and should have been neutered by the Emperor's secret police. That group was considered particularly troublesome for its involvement with various railway strikes and worker groups. I wondered to myself why a schoolteacher would have seditious materials on her shelf. Why not? Before I could place the pamphlets back, the door opened.
Oh, you found those? Well, I didn't hide them particularly well after all.
I put the items in my hand back on the shelf.
You ought to be more careful. Do you intend to report me? No. Ta-da! But actually, many of these pamphlets belong to my brother, Vilas. I'm afraid he's not around to get in trouble for them anymore, so I'm keeping them for him now. Must he leave such things with his sister? If I didn't keep it, then my other family members would have thrown it all away.
What a weird voice. Why did I go with that? Whatever.
I wanted to understand what he was thinking about up to the day he died, so I kept everything. My condolences. What happened? Oh, it was a few months ago. He was caught up in a bombing and died.
There was something that she was not saying. Yet it would be unmannerly of me to pry regarding the death of her brother.
But enough about him. Vlas would be happy that a cute girl read through his papers.
Did you... Can I have a look at our protagonist? Because we haven't seen her. Everyone says she looks good. I want to see. Anyway.
Did you have any thoughts on them? Just that it may not be advised to be much more involved with such a groups. The Emperor has eyes in the shadows.
Do you agree with what they say? I shook my head.
Some of those printed words are fantasies and some are things that are far more untenable.
You know what? What if the witch went onto the other side? She could be helpful. Anyway, I prefer not to continue down this line.
Anyway, I haven't seen your other family members around. They don't live with you.
No! I'm the only one who lives here! Everyone else is my hometown. My mother and younger sister are still living in the old family home. As for my father, you could say that he also lives in our hometown. Although a plot in the graveyard doesn't count much as part of the family home. Ha ha! What about you? Do you have a family, Olga? I paused. You take a sip of water.
No, I'm afraid I'm an only child.
Same!
And both my parents died early.
Not saying that part. Mine are still alive and kicking. I still have also one pair of grandparents. Grandfather and grandmother, yeah, from my mother's side. What a weird time to record and have something like that come up. The other grandfather is passed away for a long time now. And literally tomorrow I'm attending the passing away ceremony of my other grandmother. Funnily enough. What a coincidence to talk about this in the game. Anyway. As I tried to reach for the faces of my birth parents, I found myself unable to piece together their features. I had lost them before I became what I was.
So you are?
She took my hands to hers.
Shall I be your older sister then?
Oh, I think you mean younger.
I'm far older than you, Vasilisa Nikolaevna.
Really? I can tell.
It's true, I just happen to age very well.
I'll be your shelter. You can stay here for as long as you'd like and come back here if you run into issues outside. Best not be swept away by the river again, no?
No, I really would prefer not to be swept away by a river again.
Unlike the cold water, she was warm and steadily held my hand. I appreciated it more than I could say, so I silently held her hand back. The days passed without any further discussions of the pamphlets I found on the shelf. Now and then, the two of us would discuss topics that leaned toward treason. Through our dangerous conversations, I also learned that the two of us had different opinions on that man, Napoleon. Oh, the midget from France, yeah. Today we chatted in the early afternoon after she had arrived home from work, but before we would start dinner.
If you take the Vasilisa Great out of the question, which of her descendants is your favorite? Descendants? None of those who sat on the throne have ever held her blood in their veins.
They had not her blood, only her wishes.
Huh? What do you mean by that? Or do you mean to say that the great unifier really was a myth after all?
I shook my head.
How could she be a myth? It's her descendants who are a myth. No, the Imperial bloodline goes all the way back to Rurik and no further. Vasilisa the Great never had any children. Therefore, not once could her blood have entered that of those who sit on the throne now. Rurik was her adopted son and heir, so he and his inherited Muscovy, that's all.
I see, that's interesting.
Nikolaevna, do you have a favorite emperor?
Nope! They are all garbage, obviously!
What was it that you teach again?
History!
Yet you say you have no favorite emperor.
That's right! Isn't it because I know of their deeds that I have no favorite? Or lack of deeds. Certainly not all were glorious. None of them were. I remember one such emperor in the lineage who was so full that I went to live in the woods for decades before a prince from another branch found me again.
A favorite animal then?
It better be a dog.
My, are you insinuating that our lords above are on the same level as animals?
No, animals are better than Russian or emperors or whatever, obviously. Come on. Russian emperors are the lowest of low of humans. Hardly can call them humans, to be honest. Anyway.
That is not my intention. Do you also have a favorite animal? No, I like foxes.
That's actually a good choice, yeah.
They are cute, aren't they?
I do sometimes see foxes, despite living in a town. Sometimes when I take a different running route in the evening, there are some crossing the road or hiding in the bushes. And I did definitely see a lot of them when I was working retail in a different town. And to get there, I was crossing or maybe taking a shortcut through basically a road going through a forest, so. But that's not interesting. Anyway.
They are.
They made for warm scarves as well. No! No! Bad, Olga! Bad! Bad, Olga!
And your favorite, Olga? I would need a moment to think. Birds.
Oh, no! No! No!
I find them adorable. What was that one called? Parus Major?
I have no idea what that is. So a quick search will be necessary right now. Parus? Oh. Okay. You know what? No, this one acceptable. Yeah. This one is nice. This one is a nice, cute one. If she said like a pigeon, I would hate her so much. But dude, Parus Major, cutie. The small birdies are nice. I have agree on that. But things like basically what I already said is a flying rat, basically. No, those are not. Anyway, but Parus Major, a common yet adorable thing, it is.
That's a little unexpected. What did you think I would like? You seem like someone who'd like cats. Is that so? Well, you seem like someone who'd like foxes. Cuckoo!
She barked, I guess, but I'm not doing that.
Very very fox-like. Shall we find you a little round bun to hop into your mouth? Hoo-hoo! Alas, there are no buns at home right now, but I guess it is about time to start making dinner. My friends always said that I was good with my hands.
What do you mean by that?
I prepared the dough already. We'll have pelmeni until we're sick of it.
Pelmeni? What is that? I feel like that might be something common going about a completely different name in my place. Okay, so this is like basically fake pierogi, huh? I bet they stolen the recipe from someone else. Idly, the days passed. Feeling like a freeloader, I contemplated that none of my assets should have been shut down, even if I was presumed to have been murdered. I briefly left the house and withdrew an amount of money without issue. The only... I feel like now we wouldn't be able to do that. Though then again, in that country over there, considering how behind the times they are, I'm sure maybe you would be able to, but anywhere else, they would be onto you for sure. Anyway, the only question was if anyone would track and follow my actions. Yet what did it matter if anyone did? With money in the trade, I passed it to Vasilia Nikolaevna when I found the chance.
What's this? Money to compensate you for everything.
She took a quick look into the envelope of cash that I gave her and winced.
Are you a princess, Olga? A rich man's daughter, perhaps? Neither. I'm simply someone who has had a lot of time. I take this from you. Why not? You housed me and fed me. You've cared for me when you could have left me where you found me by the river. I want to repay you. I didn't pick you up in order to get the reward out of it. What will our friendship be like after I take this money? It feels like you're trying to up loose ends in order to make it easy to end our relationship. I don't want this money. No, I intend to stick around for as long as you will have me. Take it, I can bear a freeload off of you. I'm not troubled for money, Olga.
Is she actually a teacher that is well paid? No way.
Then take it to spend however you wish, even if it's to amass the largest collection of problematic pamphlets a woman has ever seen.
I paused. That could be a problem.
As long as you don't get yourself in trouble.
My beliefs are of the sort that the state's watchdogs might consider revolutionary or seditious. I already had an inkling of her sympathies, but I was surprised to hear her say so herself. For example, there should be no monarch who rules over any nation with autocratic power. I agree.
I see value in constitution and the parliament to aid wise monarchs and hinder potential tyrant. Muscovy is already moving toward a constitutional monarchy with checks and balances, so what else is there to be dissatisfied with beside impatience?
No, rather there should be no emperor at all. I agree.
Perhaps that's too far too fast.
The government should be of the people for the people. Resources bought from the hands of the people should be distributed to the people. She's thinking of like the perfect situation. Too bad that is kinda not achievable. Not nobles born to positions they were not elected to, or bourgeois that brought their way up. Not like the recently dismissed parliament. Not the bloodline that sits on the throne regardless of whether its people bleed or starve. I agree with that. I'd like to convince you eventually that the Imperial family is not needed, but I imagine it would take a lot of time, wouldn't it?
You might never convince me. Such ideas are fantasies, but in reality they would result in chaos and bloodshed. An emperor is needed to unite.
They never did that.
To lead, to hold this empire together. Before this dynasty, there was far more war and famine in the disjoint principalities of this land.
Is an emperor now truly the same as those of historical myth? Is the natural evolution of the society to go from that to this and then another change? At times, change may need blood. Even Vasilisa the Great must have shed a sea of blood in her unification campaign. I paused. The world was so different now from when it was during Vasa's time. Perhaps change was needed, and perhaps change was already underway. Could I ask you to read some of those books I have on my shelf? She rattled off a couple of names. They're rather eloquently written. Even if you disagree, I'd like for you to read them over and understand. I let out a sigh.
All right.
I did not agree with her perspectives, but I could at least agree to understand them. Which is a good approach. This is the problem with, like, probably society, right? It's like, I mean, with every part of society, really. People don't try to understand and disagree with everything. And the other side expects you to agree with everything, even if you don't understand, which is stupid. The thing is to understand and then agree or disagree. Then it makes sense. Anyway.
Just take the money.
Not enough of a distraction?
I know you wanted to talk about this for a while anyway. Even if you want to use the money to spread your thoughts, that's fine.
I won't. At least not your money, but I'll take it if you insist. I nodded. I'll buy you Palbeni.
We still have it at home. Maybe buy yourself some good wine as a treat instead.
Huh? We'll see. We'll see. In the next episode. And... oh, hide X. Oh, so I can do that. No, I have to do that and that. Okay. It's like a double hiding and showing up. Got it. Well, I sort of expected those dudes, or should I say that one dude, to be a bad guy. I sort of expected that, and it absolutely happened. Our Olga got erased. But she also lived. And I wonder what she'll be doing next. Or what I will make her do, sort of. Because, as far as I'm concerned, this game will have choices, because there are multiple endings, so... So far, no choices. And we are like, what, 90 minutes into the story? But, well, I expect them to arrive sooner or later. For now, let's end it. Continuation tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed. As always, consider liking of a video if you did. And, of course, if you're new around, consider subscribing to the channel. The appreciation is huge, always, if you do that and stick around. And we'll have more games. Yeah. Visual novels and not. Maybe after this VN, I'll jump into something that is not one again. Yeah, we'll see. For now, I wish you a fantastic day. Bye-bye!